Hello, everybody. Welcome to episode 63 Wrestling Fans Insights First Tuesday Night Chaos, where we talk about the last week of AEW. And with me this week, we have Carlos. How's it going, brother?
Good. This is a
Brian?
good week of AEW wrestling. I'm excited to talk about it.
Yes, it was. And Brian, how you doing, brother?
Doing good. And AEW was so good. I can't wait to talk about it.
Oh, yes. And how can we forget? We had the debut of AEW Collision, which I thought delivered really well. What was your thoughts on this debut, Brian?
So, overall, the crowd was hot. We knew that was going to happen, right? I'll be more interested to see what the crowd responds to Punk outside of Chicago, of course. I thought they did a really good job. I thought CM Punk's promo was really good, but I don't think he did anything horrible, but he, nodded at a couple things. And then I think the programming really was just, solid and strong. My question is, are they going to be able to maintain that every Saturday night? Because that is a tough spot to maintain. But man, I thought it was off to a really amazing start. And I love the stage and, the look of it. So really good program.
And I want to give a special shout out to our Twitter friend at Year of the Violet, Doug. It's that Suds. I think that was it. He made that same point on if AEW can keep that same interest every Saturday night, it would be awesome. It was great because they used the right talent in the right town with not only CM Punk, but Sky Blue, who's starting to, in my eyes, get a little more rise in the ranks. She should have been AEW Women's World Champion, of course, because we all saw what happened on Dynamite the week before. But the only thing I would say was the drawback for Collision was the start of the program. And I know I said I don't like beating the dead horse, but I'm just over the CM Punk and Elite drama. I hope this is finally going to be the last blow we got to see them poke at each other. I doubt it. I'm sorry. It's taken too much of the time for wrestling fans and the wrestling program. It's time to move on. But Carlos, how did Collision come off for you?
So are we going to talk about all Collision right now? Is that what we're doing?
Well, just Collision in general.
I thought it was good. So I worked myself into a shoot because I was looking for there to be a big debut, and I feel like it didn't necessarily need to be Mercedes, but I feel like that's the one thing that kind of was missing. Like if I was Tony Khan, I feel like there should have been a debut, and there also should have been some build up for Forbidden Door. Like I feel like that was the one thing that was kind of missing. Like Forbidden Door is only a week away, and I feel like there should have been some matches built there. But I thought it was good. I mean, CM Punk with his promo hooked me in right away. But again, well, we can talk about it more. I think it's a good thing. For me, I think they should have just not announced some of the matches. If you're not going to have any surprise debuts, then you should have maybe just kept some of the matches to a surprise because you already had CM Punk there to kind of to sell the card as it is. But I do think with Saturday, I do think it kind of felt like a pay per view, and I think going forward, they need to make it feel like a pay per view every week almost to kind of keep the crowd.
Again, to the point of Doug and Brian, keeping that interest on Saturday nights is going to be really tough, especially for it being a 2-hour program. For me, I would have swapped things around. I would make Collision being a 2-hour event on a Friday and put Rampage as 1 hour for a Saturday because your attention span on Saturdays not. In my opinion,
I would have it on a Thursday, but I know Tony Khan doesn't want to. I know Tony Khan doesn't want to go head to head with the NFL, but he's going to anyways because they're gonna be on Saturdays, so you might as well just put it on Thursdays.
My
problem. I think traveling. Oh, sorry. Go ahead.
My problem wouldn't be so much NFL, but if you want to keep the relationship with Impact, I would just leave it alone and not put it on Thursday. If anything, I would just, like I said, Saturday's not your big attention span because usually not everybody's going to be home on a Saturday night. I'm sorry. It is what it is. But, just like when they had WCW Saturday night, they tried to make that a 2-hour. It didn't work. 1 hour was sufficient, I don't know. To me, I would flip-flop it. I would make your 2-hour event Friday and the 1 hour on Saturday. The only key point on having the 1 hour on Friday is, of course, you got SmackDown. So I don't know. It is what it is. You could also maybe change Rampage to maybe a Ring of Honor event and get a little showing TV wise for that.
But they don't want Ring of Honor. That's the thing. It's like if they wanted it to be Ring of Honor, it would be Ring of Honor. They don't want that. So again, it's to me like the thing that I feel like people forget. Like again, like when growing up as kids, like Friday and Saturday nights used to be the biggest nights of TV. Dallas was on Fridays. That was like the hugest ratings thing, and like on Saturdays was Golden Girls. Like those were like two of the biggest shows on TV. So it's like there is, I think, nothing ventured, nothing gained. Like why not go for it? Because there is an audience. I mean, college football draws on a Saturday, so why can't wrestling?
Well, wrestling can be, but again, it's the attention span because people tend to go out and party or do whatever. They have their family events, especially during the summer. Like Bryan said, it's going to be hard to keep that and get that interest in there. It's
So I don't. Yeah, go ahead.
2 hours. For a hardcore wrestling fan like us, that's not that bad. But if you're looking to get more eyes on product, Saturday nights is not the right night. I'm sorry, it just isn't.
I agree. To me, but again, I don't. Go ahead. Go ahead, Bryan.
Oh, I was just going to say, I think also trying to compete with like the pay-per-view and the UFC fights and everything, maintaining, to your guys' point, is there. I don't know how the logistics too, because I know it's tough on the companies when they travel back to back and have to do takedown, set up, travel to the next town. So I think you would have to make your stops like a lot quicker if you were to do multiple nights in a row.
Well, and let's also look at college football too when that comes into play. That's going to hurt Collision big time.
Yeah,
don't you all talk at once? So
no, again, if I was Tony Khan, I mean, again, because I know before the thing is he didn't want to go on, he didn't want to go against against NFL, so that's why he didn't want to do Thursdays. But now he is going against the NFL because of Saturdays. To me, like I would move Dynamite to Tuesdays, and I would move fuck NXT. I would go ahead. I would move Dynamite to Tuesdays, and I would move Collision to Thursdays. I do Tuesday, Thursdays.
Did you say fuck NXT?
Yeah.
Oh, great.
I love NXT, don't get me wrong, but at the same time, like I wouldn't be afraid to go head to head with them, is what I'm saying. I wouldn't shy away from going head to head to them. That's what I love NXT. Again, I like the NXT brand, but what I mean by that is I wouldn't shy away from going head to head. Eventually you got to go for something. And again, they might be in a holding pattern because let's say if USA Network buys SmackDown back and it goes back to Tuesdays, then maybe they probably would switch it to Fridays. But I'm with you too. I would rather see, if anything, Collision on Fridays from like 9 to 11, and like you said, put Rampage on Saturdays.
Yeah, I mean, for me, AEW needs that developmental program like WWE. NXT is the developmental program. I'm sorry. I would think it would be better to give that to Ring of Honor. And like Carlos says, fuck, they got this mindset of saying, it's Ring of Honor, but you got to get that product exposed. And that's the one thing WWE got right. They took NXT off of the network exclusive show and put it on the cable television, and it's worked really well for them. I think this is a move that Tony Khan really needs to strongly consider. Get more eyes on the Ring of Honor product if he wants to keep it going and keep doing pay-per-views for that.
I mean, to me, if I was them, I would put the Ring of Honor title on CM Punk. That's what I would do. And and to me, like, because they film it on the same day, and then if you have him champion, if you have him being on Ring of Honor, and let's say all of a sudden Ring of Honor is getting 100, let's say they're getting 50,000, 100,000 subscriptions, then you make it more of a product that Max might want to put on their streaming thing.
Another point I just thought of that I kind of wanted to bring into this as well. We don't know what the network wanted as well, because they're the ones paying the bills, right?
Yeah.
So and I know Saturday nights is not a draw, so they're probably like, yeah, wrestling fans will watch it. We got a low spot here. Can you guys fill that? So that probably was a factor as well. Now I'm sitting here reflecting on it.
Well, and don't get me wrong, wrestling will always draw good ratings. It could be even the crappiest promotion still draw a good rating. like I said, my main worry is when college football comes into play. Once that season starts, Collision's going to hit a really hard downfall. I don't care what teams are playing. College football has been really big in this country the last few years.
Oh yeah.
It's even getting to the point where I think you're having more college diehard fans than NFL diehard fans these days.
Yeah. I kind of want to throw a question to you guys on Collision that are they building towards a natural brand split in AEW without purposely doing it? Because Punk coming out with what we assume is the title in that mystery bag of his, saying he never lost it. Yeah, I mean, he never pulled the title out of the bag.
But
right?
he said it was he said it was dog collars, the dog collars, because I won the dog collar match. No,
Yeah,
that's what he said. It was the dog collars. I'm like, no fucking dog collars.
So, are they building to? I mean, they already got the roster split. Are they building to a natural brand split? And is that just like what Raw and SmackDown really wanted to be without the crisscross? But is AEW actually doing that either on purpose or not?
I'm going to play devil's advocate on that one.
Yeah.
While I think they possibly could be doing that, I just don't think. And I know a lot of people say Tony Khan has too much talent, which he probably does. I just don't think you have enough in roster to do a split like WWE. I just don't think there will be strong enough interest for it.
Okay. Carlos, what do you think? You think they're going there?
Well, like again, I don't know if you saw my post, but there was like a thing I found where you could do a brand split, and I did it. I did a brand split based on what I would do. I think you should. I mean, I think that's I think I don't trust Tony Khan's booking, and so I feel like I just think like if he had a thing where he's like, okay, we're gonna do this for the next year, and this is gonna be this people are gonna be on this brand, and that people are gonna be on that brand. Like I think it'd be smart. Like I said on my thing, if I was playing GM, I would totally do a brand split. Like that's why I said I'd put the Ring of Honor title more on Collision. I would still call it AEW, but it's just a way to kind of build that brand too. Yeah, and for me, like I was like having more lucha guys on Collision with the because you're gonna blend in with Ring of Honor, and then I'd have Dynamite be more of the regular wrestlers and New Japan stars. But yeah, I think nothing ventured, nothing gained. I think they should go for it and see what they can do because they have a big roster, like like they have a huge roster, and I think like enabling it more, and again enabling more like. I think to counteract college football, I'd have 2 women's matches. Go after the hot girls. That's what I do. But again, I think nothing venture, nothing gain. I think they have enough talent to do it, but it's just about having to be more creative and having to really stick to your guns. Because I feel like as soon as ratings would start dropping, we got to bring so and so on this show. Like, no, you got to just kind of let it play out and see what you can do. But I don't think he's going towards that, but I think he should be. Absolutely.
Yeah.
But at the same time, though, I feel like it's. Go ahead.
Oh, sorry. No, go ahead. Finish your thought. Sorry.
I feel like right now, my whole big thing like right here is I feel like Tony Khan just needs to man up, and it shouldn't just be like these are all the problem kids. Like the way it feels like it needs to be more of I'm the boss. You're gonna wrestle where I tell you to, or you're not gonna have a job. I just like he needs to get away from the storyline of because it almost feels like you don't have control of your company, so you're gonna put all these other guys that you couldn't book because they didn't want your storylines. It needs to come off in a way where it feels like he has control of his people too. You know what I'm saying?
Well, the talent has too much freedom is the problem.
Exactly. Yes.
Right. Amen to that.
I mean, at first it wasn't so bad, but now it's gotten to the point where we had that incident with Punk and the Elite back in September. I can't remember which event that was.
Well, it was all out.
All out. Yes, thank you. And I think that's what eventually was the downfall. Was it finally came back and kicked AEW right in the ass when that unfortunate event took place. I don't know. I understand Carlos's point. Like I said, Tony Khan has a lot of talent. I just don't know if it's strong enough to have brand split. I wouldn't mind seeing it. Like Carlos has mentioned, I just don't think they'll be able to keep up with it unless he looks at finally getting a creative and booking team. If he can't get that, then I don't see it lasting very long.
Yeah, because he hasn't shown like Like he hasn't shown like this ability to pivot like enough. He did pivot where he put the titles on the Acclaim, and that was a smart move because I don't think they were ever supposed to be tag champions. But he looked at what the crowd wanted. Like for example, I have no interest in seeing Swerve and Keith Lee fight anymore. You know, and he lost that because he didn't get it fast enough, and he was waiting for the pay per view to happen, and now it's lost all his momentum. I could give two shits about seeing that match anymore. Whereas like you had them involved with Rick Ross, you had this big thing going. Like he needs to start trusting people and like building that creative team. And it's like, and that's where I'd like to see him. Like nothing mentioned, nothing gained. Like let somebody else run Rampage, like run Collision, and see if they can keep the ratings going and let it be instead of feeding your own ego. And for me, like as far as like as all out the brawl goes, I don't feel like it should be CM Punk apologizing. I feel like it should be Tony Khan apologizing because as soon as that should happen, he should have grabbed the mic out of CM Punk's hands and go, "We're not having this." So he's also, he just looks like a little bitch, and that to me, like again, if you can't get your employees to come to work, and like where Miro's been sitting out because he didn't want creative, and now you have this new show, so now you're getting these guys back, like it all falls on him. Like he should be having better control of his talent, and these guys should be coming to work, and that's where he needs to not be afraid to let somebody go and just let him sit at home for a year or like their talent has too much control, and he needs to be the one controlling the ship. And to me, he needs to be the one apologizing because that event should never happen. And again, I feel like he was the one that fired Colt Cabana. Kind of was trying to get rid of Colt Cabana to make CM Punk happy. I don't think CM Punk ever asked for that, but Tony Khan was just trying to make him happy, and he made a mistake, and now he's having to pivot. Tony Khan is the one that needs to get control of this company. He's the one that needs to be apologizing to his roster, in my opinion.
So should we have Tony Khan go out there and acknowledge the fans then, saying he made his mistake?
Yeah, but I should have cut off CM Punk's. I should have cut off CM Punk's mic. I should have had control of this. And then again, I should have media scrums and more to pad my own ego. It's like because they're fake anyways. He doesn't want to answer any of the important questions. Knock that shit off, dude. Like fuck. It's just like, it's just clean up your mess. Like you allowing this to happen was too like. He's the one that needs to get better control of his talent. And if these guys don't want to work with each other, there's money. I'm the one paying you. You're going to do this, damn it. And it's like, my gosh.
All right. Now that we've finally got Carlos riled up. Bryan, did you have any more thoughts?
Yeah, the only thought was, sometimes you end up held hostage in your own company, right? And
exactly.
You need certain talent to get recognized, to get airtime. And it's weird because, I don't want him to be Vince, but I also, it's like there's a happy medium between Vince and Tony, right? Like I would love to work for a guy like Tony. And I think, you catch more flies with honey than vinegar. And I think that's kind of the route he goes with, where Vince is very much pound the fist on the table, and, but that's why, he's been doing it a lot longer and it's his way or the highway, or you're not making a name for yourself under Vince, unless Vince says so for a long time. So, I don't want to see Tony get held hostage in his own company. So, hopefully those conversations happen behind the scenes that allows them to reaffirm, who's driving this behind the scenes.
Without a doubt. So I know I said we were going to wrap it up with Collision, but Carlos, what's your feeling on Luchasaurus becoming the new TNT champion?
I'm so mad because like right when I'm feeling Wardlow again, like, dude, like, so let's talk about Collision. So like, to me, like, you built this momentum back. Like, why'd you take the title off Hobbs in the first place to give it back to Wardlow if you're going to just put on Luchasaurus? Like, again, I do like the aspect of Brian Cage, of Christian Cage acting like he's the champion. I think that's funny. But at the same time, like, it should have just never happened. Like, there's just, I'm so mad. Like, to me, like, we had Wardlow squash MJF last year, okay? Like, Wardlow beat MJF in a squash match. The only match Wardlow should have lost up to being world champion was the one person that he put over to end his reign to be television champion, TT champion. That he should have went straight to being the world champion, AEW champion. They have fumbled the bag so bad on Wardlow. And it's like, are you kidding me? Like, the dude is like such money. I mean, I could just see Vince drooling every time he sees Broiler come out to the ring. And you're doing this to somebody who WWE would like love to have in a heartbeat. Again, just No, I mean, again, I'm intrigued by the whole Christian, acting like he's champion when it's Luchasaurus, but no, Wardlow shouldn't be being beat, but again, Wardlow should be right now the whatever it is that he should be like the longest running TNT champion in history. The only person he should have lost to was the guy he was going to put over, and it should have went straight to world title program. I didn't like it at all.
All right. Why don't we move on to Dynamite? I
Oh,
thought
just real quick, I do want to shout out kudos to Andrade for using the figure eight finish on Buddy Matthews. Again, like to me, like that's one thing I do love about AEW is like rewarding my fandom by not acting like I don't watch both programs. And again, I loved him using Charlotte's finisher to win the match. Again, that was a kiss me moment. Thank you.
Real quick, I know we want to move ahead. Wardlow and Luchasaurus, I just want to comment on this because I agree with Carlos. They had a very Batista-like build for him ready, and it's ended up being Ryback, and I feel like the best thing that he might want to do is consider going to WWE at this point because, or like you guys mentioned, they should have had like this Jade Cargill type build with that TNT title. So that's all I wanted to say on it, but we can move ahead.
all right. Why don't we go to Dynamite now?
Oh wait, hold on. One more thing. One more thing.
Jesus, Carlos. MJF, Adam Cole. I thought they had one hell of a match going to a time limit draw. I mean, of the two other time limit draws we've had before, I thought this one was the best one. Yeah, and we lost Carlos.
I'm here.
Okay, well, you popped out and popped back.
Okay, so MJF, Adam Cole. Okay.
Yeah. Yeah, MJF, Adam Cole. I thought that was one of the best time limit draw matches we've had in, I believe, with the two that we've had on Bryan Danielson. What was your guys' thoughts to that?
Yeah, I thought it was.
So I thought it was a fun.
Really
Go ahead.
Oh, I thought it was a solid match. I love the ending, and I'm excited to kind of see what more they're going to do because it's going to be more future work. So absolutely.
I thought it was a good match. Again, I want to give a shout out to MJF for actually doing a table spot well for AEW talent because I feel like the last like table spots that AEW done, like the person's either missed or like they've not done it. MJF like executed it perfectly coming off the ring. Like again, kudos to him for and again I like Bryce Edwards finally stepping up and stopping MJF from using the diamond ring and stuff like that. Like again, it was just fun. Like we all like again like kudos for like finally giving the referees a brain there. And again I just love the whole match. Again, like I agree it was like a good time limit because you didn't realize it was going to go to a time limit draw until it actually happened, especially with the card that they had mentioned. So it was a nice surprise. And again, it was just really good. It was just really good storytelling. And then again, and then like MJF refusing to go another 5 minutes. It was just really well done. And again, I'm curious to see where they're going to go with this in the future. It was really well done. Kudos.
And I mentioned it in Collision where we saw the AEW Women's World Championship on the line, Tony Storm retaining over Sky Blue. And I thought they had a better match than what a lot of people have been criticizing it for. I thought Sky Blue, this was one of her better performances on her own. Obviously, she should have been the champion, but of course, referee was distracted in another direction. But what was your guys' Bryan? Let's go to you first. What did you think of Sky Blue's performance in this?
I thought she did really well. I wanted to kind of make this point about her because when I went to the house show a while back, Sky Blue was on that card in Ohio, and she was really over with the crowd that obviously wasn't a mainstream TV crowd, and it kind of got my attention more drawn to her. And then I'm not surprised that I'm now seeing her in more of the title contention matches. So I actually am kind of like, okay, she was definitely being developed kind of and hidden behind the scenes and tested out on the indie shows. So I wasn't really surprised because I just felt like she was kind of hidden a little bit under all this other talent.
Carlos?
I put it on Twitter that same night. I was like, Sky Blues won me over, like again, because I don't like the way she was booked at first, because she'd always would just lose, and so it's like I don't really have interest in seeing somebody who always loses all the time, like because she'll put on good matches, but it wouldn't make sense because she was getting all these like world title matches and stuff like that, and all these opportunities, but she never really won a match. And again, I got the fact that she could put on a good match, like. She even gave Jade she gave Jade Cargill her best match too, back in the day for the TBS championship. But Sky Blues won me over. Like I'm a big fan of hers. Like she has a really good. She's just does a really good job at selling. She's really talented. I can see her eventually being like a Becky Lynch for them. But my whole thing, like I said, is like if I was them, I would put the Ring of Honor Women's title on Sky Blue and let her try to carry that brand. And I would bring Athena back in to be with the Outcasts, and kind of feud with them and be one of the outsiders. That's what I would do with her. But no, she definitely won me over.
I would say my only criticism of that entire match was I don't think they got enough time for what it was. I felt like they just needed a few more minutes, and I think the match would have been a lot better than what a lot of the IWC has criticized it for. But let's go to the main event of that night. Hangman and the Bucks, I guess you call them the Hung Bucks or Hang Bucks or whatever they called them. Yeah, I like, why not just call them the Elite for crying?
I'm not complaining about the name.
Of course not. You're defeating the Blackpool Combat Club, but we got some surprises thereafter. We see Takeshita come out, try to help the Blackpool Combat Club try to overpower him, but actually, before that, Eddie Kingston came down, which was a little interesting. He goes right after Claudio and Wheeler, but only goes in a shoving war with Mox. But then we get Takeshita come out, do the attack behind Eddie. Then we see Kenny Omega come out. Unfortunately for Kenny, Will Ospreay now comes back and throws in his 2 cents. It was a little all over the place, but it was exciting at the same time. But Carlos, how did you take all that in?
I don't like Eddie Kingston getting involved with this feud. I get that he is going to probably be the main event of Claudio. He'll probably maybe fight Claudio for the Ring of Honor title. But I feel like it's adding another element into this feud that I really don't need to see right now. So I didn't really like that. I didn't like Eddie Kingston popping in there. Like, what the heck was the point of that? Like because I don't know. I don't want to see Eddie Kingston and Moxley fight. I kind of like that they're friends. I didn't really like Eddie Kingston's involvement in it. Give me Kota Ibushi. That's what I want to see making his way here. And again, to me, like my one thing too is I don't really quick because I feel like I wish Wheeler Yuta was getting the match with Sonata and not Jungle Boy, because you had Wheeler Yuta beat Kenny Omega in the main event, and then you're not going to capitalize on that. That makes no sense to me. Again, it was kind of cool, and having Will Ocean Spray, as my friend calls him, show up there. I thought that was kind of cool. It was a nice surprise, but I just kind of felt like a clusterfuck in a way. I guess I don't know. I just feel like I didn't really like Eddie Kingston being involved in it. They kind of just threw me off for a bit.
Bryan?
Yeah, I'm going to kind of keep that same narrative. It was a little over the top, as I called it, right? I think they were going for the oh my gosh moment, the run-ins, right? And but to the point, it was kind of like Eddie was just like, oh hey, everyone, Eddie Kingston, and then they went on with everything else. I know they've been doing this feud for a while between these two entities. And I did feel like it was a little crazy and over the top, but I mean, I didn't hate it, but I also wasn't like, oh my gosh, you guys got to see this. Did you see what happened tonight? So that's my take.
I'm going to go ahead and move on to Rampage.
Just real quick, the 8-man tag. 8-man tag to me was the best match of the show.
Oh, Lordy. I didn't think so, but that's me.
Yeah, Brian Cage playing homage to Sting, man. I just thought it was very entertaining.
Yeah.
So anytime Sting wrestles, we got to give homage to that. This is Wrestling Fan Insight, right? So you want my perspective, don't you? Come on now.
We're also kind of on a time limit.
I know. No, I just thought it was a very entertaining match. So again, kudos to them. I just thought it was really well done.
Going on, speaking of the entertainment aspect, as I'm trying to get into Rampage, we saw the Briscoes, Mark and Papa Briscoe, team up with Ref Aubrey going against, the Karen and Jeff Jarrett and as well as Jay Lethal. And I thought that was, it obviously wasn't going to be a technical wrestling match, but it was a very entertaining one. We get to see Ref Aubrey take a swing at Jay Lethal with the guitar. I was really hoping she's going to whack Karen with it, honestly, but Jay Lethal works. How'd you like that match, Carlos?
I loved it. I loved it. Because at first I was like mad, like Papa Briscoe, like really, like you're gonna bring this guy in to get for you with these guys, but it's like, to me, like again, I really was entertained by the match. I thought it was great. I love me some Karen Jarrett back from her TNA days. She just plays a bitch really, really well.
Oh, Bryan.
Yeah, I'll be quick. Because Rampage, I only caught highlights of it. Because Rampage has kind of become my AEW NXT, where sometimes I'll catch it if it's convenient, but it's kind of become that not must see TV unless I'm just finishing up SmackDown and kind of rolling into it. So there was nothing that really stuck out to me that said, "Oh yeah, I got to see that tonight."
Oh, sorry, Carlos, you cut out. I guess we thought you were done. So
yeah, I guess I am.
But
what did I cut out at? Damn, I see it. I guess it's July already.
No, like you went silent. I'm like, back to Bryan. So gotta love internet these days.
Right.
But I thought the rest of Rampage was pretty good as far as, United Empire defeating Chaos. Taya Valkyrie is kind of rebuilding back toward the TBS championship, but I don't think it's coming off Chris Statlander anytime soon. But the really killer match of that night was watching, shout out to Smack Raw. Is it the Smack Raw pod that calls him Take a Shit?
Take a Shit, yeah, Smack in a Raw.
Yeah, Smack and Raw. Yeah, Take a Shit, having a great match defeating Bandito. Those two put on one hell of a match for Friday night.
Like to me, and again, just if I'm putting like that match should have been on Dynamite, and then like I would have had the Wardlow Jack Hager match on Rampage.
So, well, I guess my question is: was Rampage filmed or recorded at Dynamite?
Yeah, so going forward, Rampage is filmed with Dynamite, and then they're going to be filming Ring of Honor with Collision.
Okay, that's what I was trying to figure out there.
I didn't know that, so thank you.
Yeah, I didn't either. I wasn't.
Oh, you guys know. So again, it's one of those things where I'm grateful I'm grateful that I got to go watch Dynamite when I did, because I still got to see like them filming Dark Elevation, then Rampage afterwards. So I feel like I really, and I only paid $90 for my ticket, so where now they're charging like $500. So I feel like blessed that like I got to like enjoy something before it got taken away. So I feel like I got to be like in the glory days, because you got to see all that wrestling you don't get to see anymore. So yeah, they film Rampage and Dynamite together.
All right. Do you guys have any final thoughts on this week's AEW programming? We'll start with Bryan.
Yeah, mine's pretty simple. I felt like they definitely focused very heavily on Collision, as they should have, right? And to get the eyes drawn, and they had the hook with Punk, but they told good stories, good matches, but they also didn't forget about Dynamite. And I got to applaud AEW for that, because it's very easy when something's already up and going and running to say, oh, well, this is my focus, I'm going to go that way. But they really didn't abandon their other main programming. So kudos to them on that. And that was kind of my overall thoughts, but it was a great week to watch both shows.
Carlos?
So here's my thing about Dynamite. Like, I really enjoy AEW right now, but when I watch AEW, I feel like I love it over WWE, but like I feel like I'm watching like a real life Toy Story in real life. Like I feel like you're seeing you're seeing Tony Khan want to play with all his new toys sometimes, and it's forgetting about the old ones. And what I mean by that, like even like for Rampage, like seeing keep seeing like Chuck and seeing best friends lose over and over again really saddens me. And like seeing like where the tag team division is with Dynamite, because honestly, like the tag team division was what really got me watching Dynamite at first, and I feel like it's kind of getting lost in the shuffle of Tony Khan trying to like get all his new toys aligned and trying to like play those new toys. But again, I was entertained by it all, and again, like I'm just looking in the future for him to kind of just not losing track of what got them to the dance in the first place, and kind of seeing the guys that were there in the beginning, so but besides the elite, still getting their shine and kind of getting more of a balance there. But again, it was a really well done week for AEW, and they with the talent they have, I would expect nothing less.
Well, Carlos, you have a friend in me, so
Thanks.
All right. Well, while we get right into
But I'm
sorry.
Dad. But wasn't that a little good analogy? Like I feel like it is like a real life Toy Story evolving in my face.
Yeah, it is. So, why don't we go right to our top 10 there, and Carlos, we'll start with you, 10-1.
So number 10 for me was the Briscoes and Aubrey. Number 9 was Sky Blue. Number 8 was Bandito. Number 5 was Take a Shit. Number 6 was Wardlow. Number 5 was Adam Cole. Number 4 was MJF. Number 3 was the 8-man tag. Again, I really loved it. Number 2 was Buddy Matthews and Andrade, and number 1 was CM Punk.
All right, Brian, did you want to take a stab at it, or you want me to go ahead?
Oh no, can I do my number one, my shucky quack quack? I gotta think of a better name, but my number one, CM Punk. He, could tell kudos to him. He looked healthy. He looked really good compared to when we seen him last time. And
he had a little bit of a muffin gut.
I like the fact that he did. I like the fact that he didn't. He stayed within the lines, and he knows that he's kind of on a little bit of a leash, so to speak. But I also like the fact that he was professional and he, got his points in there. But I just say kudos to him. He didn't go into business for himself. And I felt like he really was trying to put, the AEW Collision brand on his back a little bit. So kudos to him.
You're right. With me going in my top 10, number 10, I put in Andrade El Idolo. Welcome back. My number 9, House of Black. I thought they are throwing in some intriguing ideas that maybe we're going to see them go up against I can't remember the name of the faction, La Facción or whatever.
La Facción Irrenobles.
Yes, thank you. I think we're going to end up seeing that as maybe a
possible.
Are
you sure Andrade's not going to be a face though? Because I thought it was interesting that Jose didn't come with Andrade to the ring.
I don't know if that matters or not, but I don't think he really necessarily left the group entirely either. But good point there that we didn't see Jose the assistant there. My number 8 went to CM Punk and FTR. Number 7, Ref Aubrey Edwards. Number 6, Papa and Mark Briscoe. Number 5, Miro. Welcome back. Number 4, United Empire. Number 3 went to Sky Blue. Number 2, the new TNT champion, Luchasaurus. Yeah, my number 1 went to Adam Cole and MJF. And before we go, did you, Carlos, do you have any shout outs you want to give?
Yeah, let me shout out just some Twitter friends: Sarah Execution 84, Infrated Ralph, Eric. Again, shout out to We Laugh, We Learn. That's a podcast they would support us. And again, the Distinguished Gentleman podcast. And then just all our friends on Twitter. We enjoy the interactions, and thank you all for your support.
Brian?
Yeah, I will mirror what he said with everybody on Twitter, and just that makes the IWC great for us on the positive side. And I'm just going to this week shout out our stable mates, Will and Heather, and I hope you guys are good and feeling good, and can't wait to get you guys all back on the same channel with us.
All right, and I want to give a shout out again to Is This a Bad Take podcast, Two Dudes Sports News, at Fan in the Van. Also, Austin Boyer with the Wrestling World. Thank you guys for all the support you give us on Twitter by retweeting our podcast episodes out there. Same with at Sage Dup, who's always done a wonderful job with us. At Carol Bucks, Carolina, thank you for always retweeting our episodes out there. Yeah, more importantly, some of our newer members, I want to give a shout out to Kevin there, and I want to say Libby, Montana. He's listening to us each and every week. And new member to our chat group, Doug's. It's that Doug Suds. I can't remember what the full name is, but he goes by at Year of the Violet on Twitter. So, with that being
Teach him
said,
how to Dougie. Teach him how to Dougie.
yeah, teach them how to Dougie. With that being said, thank you everyone for tuning in to our debut of the Tuesday Night Chaos. We'll be back again next Sunday with Wrestling Fans Insights WWE Rebound. Have a great week, everyone.